Long Saddle said he is where he said he was going to drop us, right?
Yeah.
Near Long Saddle.
Yeah, basically on the road north of Long Saddle.
And then we had to decide what we were doing after that.
Yeah.
Were we able to loot the scales or like the essence or anything like that?
That was one thing we were going to hold off on. Was
so you got back.
Yeah.
Okay.
You had specifically asked about that. What would you guys like to do? That you can harvest enough of the scales to make a set of armor, or you can essentially render down the dragon for the magical essence that resides within it to be used to create other magical items at some future point. You can only do one or the other. You can't do both.
All right. So I suppose the first question to ask is how comfortable are each of you in what you currently wear? Should we be forced to face more of these creatures?
Well, I just got this new armor from its trove, but it's just merely a well-crafted leather armor. Not the greatest.
We are intending to head northwards towards the spine of the world. Perhaps cold resistance could be fortuitous.
Is that where we're heading?
I don't know. I've never traveled this far north before.
That's where the castle is heading. That isn't necessarily where you guys are heading.
Yeah, we never decided where we were going.
You also have never reported in.
There's that too.
Well, for some reason, when I look at this map, I thought, maybe it's just my thought, but I thought we were going to Long Saddle, and then for some reason I was thinking we'd cross over to Neverwinter. But
I wanted to go to a major city in order to offload a lot of the treasures that we've got.
You know, nothing looks more exciting than maybe traveling that river or going through a thick wood to really get it going.
All right.
So I guess let me approach this from a different vector. You guys have essentially accomplished the mission you set out on. You've stopped the transport of this treasure. You've learned a lot of stuff. Where are you guys? What do you feel like your mission is now?
So,
Yes.
do we know for a fact that the treasure that was in this floating castle, where it was basically all the treasure that the dragon cult stole from the southern cities?
A portion.
Is that what?
I'm sure it's a portion of it.
So there may still be a trail of...
I mean, we don't know how many times they moved this castle to wherever it went. Was it the Well of Dragons?
I believe so. But you would think it best if we were to make contact with Leos and attempt to start returning some of these lost treasures.
Was that in character?
I think so.
A little bit of both.
I do believe we need to at least report to Leos that we have found one way that they have transported the treasure. Did we know where they were going previous to the mutiny?
They were headed towards the Well of Dragons.
Do we know where the Well of Dragons is located?
Not exactly. We know that it is south of where we currently are.
Okay. Yeah, I would say that we should report that we will land in Long Saddle and we will try to find the exact location of the Well of Dragons.
Maybe Leosin has dug up some more information on them.
I feel that would be the appropriate expansion of our mission. To go to the very Well of Dragons.
I think that's ultimately where we have to go.
Perhaps we can get out of Lagothkus, a closer locale, a better direction in which to point ourselves towards this Well of Dragons. We can report back to Leosin as well.
I think he was waiting on our answer anyway of where we wanted to be dropped off, so yeah, maybe we can get some more information out of him. Go ahead, Aravan.
Right now.
He wasn't too happy with me the last time I saw him. He had just been nearly killed by that that red wizard Wrath.
It's true.
Yes. And then he went and killed the white dragon for us.
Did he say how far out we were from Long Saddle? Perhaps it might be best to let him sleep some of that anger off.
I think we were pretty close, weren't we, Ben? It's about where we were at anyway.
Basically, the castle had been heading south or southeast towards its destination. And after all the craziness went down, he's turning the castle around, and the nearest human settlement that he knows of is this Long Saddle place. So he was willing to drop you off there since it's kind of on his way. But he's not really... He's going his way, and you're not exactly unwelcome, but he didn't... he was not overly impressed with your performance.
Yeah, that was our bad. Did anyone make mention of Esclerota to him?
Yeah, So when you were fighting the dragon, I ran up and I said, your wife sent us, told us you were hurt. And then he helped us go and run back down. So, he knows. I hope.
Okay.
He could have just been really angry and not listening to what I had to say anyway.
Do you?
Anyway, we have a lot of stuff that we have to sell, and we need to get word to Leosin, so the sooner that we get to civilization, the better.
Agreed. And if we could take some portions of this creature to Neverwinter, we might have better luck with it as well. A larger populace.
So we would rather take the pieces versus finding a way to enchant something with this dragon essence.
Everyone is comfortable in their defenses. We can harvest this one down to its essence and take that with us.
If we can take the essence and somehow modify my bow, That would be quite helpful.
Indeed. Caden, have you any idea how we might go about beginning to harvest the magical essence from such a creature?
I'm going to go on a limb and say probably. You do, in fact.
I pull out a vial and I'm like, I can store it in this.
Like, you go up to the corpse and you sort of like go over here, and then you like sort of twist it and then pour it over there, and then poof. Basically, just do that. You know, to pretty it up a bit. You go in and you harvest like the major organs of the creature you've destroyed, and Caden can then cast some spells over them that effectively pull out the magical essence and kind of condense it,
distill it, maybe.
Basically, into a form that a wizard or someone else who has the ability to create magic items could then use in place of a variety of other components that might normally have been required for an enchantment. It's kind of like, you know, instead of having to actually go fetch a dragon's heart or, you know, 59, you know, dark bat wings or something like that, you know, you can substitute in this stuff.
Okay.
But it's the essence that resides within each of the kind of, again, like the brain, the heart, the eyes, you know, those sorts of things. So in mechanical terms, you will harvest as many essences as the creature had hit dice.
Oh, okay. I say that we, you know, out of character. That sounds like an interesting mechanic, and I'd like to see how it goes. It's not often that you get to slay a dragon.
What I was thinking.
Well, if we can get, you know, if we can somehow pull more essence out of this creature, it might be useful to Numa as well. Maybe we can alter his blade some more, and, you know, who knows? This was a white dragon. Maybe he can add some frost to his blade or some such.
I think it's worth a shot.
Oh, he's not here. Never mind. I take it all for myself.
We split this essence 3 ways. Agreed?
Agreed.
The way that I found this basically had a nice little layout about kind of what to do with for you, or I guess Xavier, you'll remember the green dragon that was fought at the beginning or fairly early on in the mines of
Van Dalen.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
The guy's webpage that I found talked about, well, this is what happens when your players do stuff that you weren't prepared for. Because they actually managed to slay the green dragon.
Right.
And so he was like, so, what do you do when that happens? And his what do you do was basically, you know, here's how you can...
Was that Dawn Forgecast?
I don't think so.
Okay, because I think he has a whole write-up on magical essence things. But continue on. I'm going to see if I can find it. I'll link it to you.
Anyway, I'm trying to track down that specific thing since you guys are going for the harvesting route.
I know I got it here somewhere. Where is it?
But anyway, you can collect the essences. I will at least for now, I'm going to say the rules are, if you make 3 successful checks before you make 3 unsuccessful checks, you get all of them. If you fail checks, you start, mishandling some of them and lose some of the essences.
All right.
So what skills are we going for here?
Well, I'm going to get everybody who wants to assist to pick a skill, kind of like a skill challenge. And depending on how you describe it and what you want to do with it, as a wizard, yours is almost certainly going to be Arcana. That you're having to kind of guide them on this.
Xavier will use sleight of hand to carefully cut around where Caden is indicating are the important bits.
Okay.
I was thinking Aravan might be able to use persuasion to convince Caden to do his part as well. To be like, I didn't quite catch the way you did it the first time. Maybe just show me one more time, and from here on after, I might be able to help you out.
Well, that would effectively mean that. Okay. Well. Okay. So.
Or I can go for a history.
What I will say is that Caden, if you would like to make a Arcana check, that is actually going to fail.
Shit.
So that's one failure. Xavier, if you'd like to make your sleight of hand check,
20.
that'll be a success. You're 1 and 1. Aravan, you can go ahead and use your persuasion.
Caden, I didn't quite follow what your hands were doing there. They seemed a little jittery. Could you show me again, perhaps?
So, I will say that you have now convinced him to try again, so Caden, you can roll your Arcana check again.
Oh, don't tell me that'll work.
Typical coworker.
That's still going to fail.
Typical coworker.
So 2 failures and 1 success so far.
So can anybody do this, or just the magician people?
No, I mean, anybody could.
All right. Well, I'm going to use my animal handling to pull out teeth or something. I don't know.
Animal handling, I'll give you nature. Animal handling is more like actually dealing with live creatures.
Oh, okay.
What have you been doing to your dog?
I'm handling an animal. Can I, pull its toenails out or something? Like I'm hooving it. Nature is not a good thing for me, but we can try it. Can I look for some kind of religious piece I can take off? Alright.
Okay, so through the combination of Caden, it's been a long time. I mean, you know the theory of what you're doing, but it's been a little while. It's maybe you haven't done quite what you intended to do here, but and I found the webpage I was looking for, so I will give you guys a couple more options here. So, you have successfully, or you're about to successfully harvest some of the essences. I will determine just how many you've botched in a moment. However, there is a few other options besides a straight up harvesting the essences or like scales to make armor and stuff. So, would anyone be interested in hearing about potential other things you could do?
Ooh.
So, if you would like to harvest the dragon bones, then you can end up making trinkets, wands, rods, staves, bolts, arrows, other such things out of the dragon bones. If you would like to attempt to harvest the dragon's brain, you could do a few things. It is possible to consume the brain of a dragon to gain great power. It's also possible to die horribly. If you make a successful Constitution save, then you would roll a couple of d8s and gain one of several potential benefits. I'm not going to tell you what those benefits are, but there's some very good ones. There's also some potentially bad ones. But it's a very interesting set of information. The dragon's eyes. You can consume a dragon's eye, basically the same way you could consume the brain, and you will have the potential to gain basically some of the effects that the dragon's eye would have had while it was alive. This includes things like blind sight, dark, the potential to do things like see into the ethereal plane or see invisibility. If you decide to consume the dragon's heart, you could temporarily gain the benefits of a haste or heroism, or actually the haste and heroism spells. So anyway, there's several things you could do if you want to potentially consume the dragon's bits and pieces. But yeah, doing all that would render the essence, you would get no essences. So you can either pick like harvesting the scales and the bones and the brain, all that kind of stuff, or you can render it all down for essences.
If we take this essence to a wizard, is it still the same amount of time to make a magic item as the DMG?
I'll work with you on the making the magic items.
Okay.
But the initial value, here's what they say, is basically one essence of a magical creature is the equivalent of 100 gold worth of reagents and crafting materials used to make the magic item.
I see. So if you want like an expensive thing, you're going to need like 100 essences or something like that.
Right, 100 essences would be enough to craft a 10,000 gold piece value item.
Okay.
And since we use the same magical pricing spreadsheet or PDF, you know, 10,000 gold that's a very expensive sort of item.
Right. Okay.
So
I still think we should do the essences because it sounds cool.
Yeah. Unless you guys want to try it for like a wand or staff or arrows or something like that.
I mean, can I make a bow out of a dragon rib?
You probably have to make it a magical bow, but yeah, you could do that.
I wouldn't mind getting a magical staff of some variety. Even just a basic +1.
Well, again, you could make the staff, you could use the bones to create, but you still have to get it enchanted.
Right.
That is, with the amount of money that you guys have come across here recently, you know, you've got a pretty decent.
I mean, just between the, a gem and the tapestry and the statue that we got. I mean, that's 4,500. I'll go lowball it here. 4,500, 6,000, 8,500 just in 3 items there, and that's not counting gold or anything like that. And that doesn't include any essences or items that we would get from the dragon. So. I don't know. It sounds like we're still going to need some way of enchanting things, even if we get just the items like bones and stuff and use those as a reagent for, so we're still going to have to get it enchanted either way.
Well, again, if you harvest the bits and pieces from the dragon, what you would end up with is, scales that can be used to make armor, plus the bones, which can be used to make other stuff, plus the brain, plus the eyes, Not just one of those things.
Well, what say you, Caden?
Sorry, what?
You've been able to keep a fairly sound mind throughout all of what's been going on. What decision would you think is best for the party?
Who, me?
Both of you.
You're all involved.
I'm kind of, I got kind of a hankering for a dragon eye for some reason.
We can harvest.
Let's say we harvest it.
Parts. We can go that route.
Harvest it for parts and then just pay gold for enchanting.
All right.
Very well.
So, let's have some fun. Okay, so we'll scrap all the rolls you guys just made. And now you're going to start harvesting stuff. Now let's see. Let's start with the scales for potential armor. The fights you guys had, Numa, you did quite a bit of the damage, and then Caden did.
He got one arrow from me, and then a lightning bolt from Biggin.
Right. And then...
Oh, I thought you meant I did damage when I was trying to harvest his teeth.
No, and Numa, you like punched him and stuff. Did you use your sword on him?
I used his sword on the first pass.
Okay.
A couple hits.
And then
Okay, so it was a fairly typical fight.
Yeah.
So his skin will have taken a decent bit of damage. Okay, so then these rules still make a pretty good... So you guys are going to manage to harvest effectively 3 hide units.
Okay.
It takes 2 units of hide to make a medium-size suit of scale mail armor. So you've got enough to make a suit of, white dragon scale mail.
Okay.
And with the third hide unit, you could make something like a shield, a helm, or maybe a cloak. So, who's noting that down?
I got it.
All right. The bones. You're able to gather basically 16 units of bones. So, if you want to make stuff out of the bones, and you provide these to someone to enchant for you, all of this stuff, if you use it to craft magic items, is going to cut the cost in half.
All right.
So, a wand or some sort of trinket or amulet or something, or even a small weapon, will be 1 bone unit. A staff or a large weapon will cost 4 bone units.
So the wand was 1 unit, and the staff was 4.
Yep. And a rod or a medium weapon is 2.
Staff is 4, or a say a longbow would be 4 as well.
Yeah. And then you can get 10 arrows or bolts out of 1 unit. So you can make a whole bunch of, dragon bone arrows.
Cool.
Okay. The brain. Who is interested in harvesting the brain?
What did we say the brain did?
Consume it for some D8's worth of benefits or drawbacks, and then you get con save.
If nobody wants to consume the brain, Xavier will.
Tell you what, I'll Rochambeau you for it.
Okay.
I will say there are benefits, of the potential things that could happen. They would be beneficial to basically any member of the party, depending on what you roll.
Depending on what you roll. And the negatives will be not beneficiary to everyone. Xavier is going to go for it. He's hunting dragons, so if he needs to take dragon power, then that's what he's about.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think Numi is the same way.
All right. So what do you want? D20s
I've got 3 in
the brain?
But I don't want the brain. No, I'm not finished. My constitution's too low to start eating brains.
All right.
Sorry, I'm having to deal with something at work. What's going on?
Oh, we're about to decide who's going to attempt to eat the brain and see what they get.
You want in on it?
Are you interested in potentially picking up an interesting power from eating a dragon brain?
You want to hit this dragon brain?
Okay.
It's a big brain. Can we all get some?
No, only one person gets it.
All right.
So, I will say, given the status of the party so far, and the fact that poor Caden has been so far neglected in most of the randomly generated treasures, that he's going to get a +3 to his roll.
Fair enough.
Right.
He really wants that dragon brain.
Xavier's got quite a lot of stuff, so he'll get a +1, and Aravan...
He's got quite a lot of stuff, too.
You actually got a lot of stuff, too, so I'm gonna get, you can both have a +1.
Okay.
All right.
So effectively, Caden gets a +2, and everybody else just rolls.
Okay.
All right.
A straight D20.
Ah! Ah! I mean Dragonbrain, y'all!
Wait, Xavier, I thought it was a joke. We were joking.
All
Okay.
right. What am I rolling?
Supposed to
I'm scarfing
actually
into
eat
this
it.
thing.
It looks like the dice have decided.
Xavier's gonna die.
So, first, let me read you this. It is possible to consume a dragon brain to gain great power. It is also possible to die horribly.
Yep.
Make a saving throw versus poison when eating the brain, or regurgitate it, ruining it and losing all benefit. So, you need to make a DC 15 Constitution save,
Oh shit.
or you just vomit it all back up and nothing happens.
I was just checking my feet to see if it would help me versus poison, but it doesn't. Okay. Alright, so a straight Constitution saving throw. Gotta beat 15, right?
Yep.
Come on, don't die. Shit!
Oh, no.
So,
Oh, Xavier, we were going to eat that.
We didn't get inspiration from that dragon fight, did we?
no.
Damn!
So here's what I'm going to say happens. Because you rolled a 1, you go over there, like, you guys managed to kind of hack into the skull of this dragon and peel back a piece of its skull to get at the brain. And you kind of pull the brain out, more or less intact. And you have this discussion, and Xavier is like, yep, I'm good. I want to do it. I feel like I need to do this. And so they hand you the brain, and you stare at it for a second. You're like, okay. And you go to take the first bite, and like as it gets to your nose, there's just something about the smell that you didn't pick up before. Just involuntarily, you just start gagging and retching, and you're trying to force yourself to eat this, and you just can't. You just can't even come close.
What a waste.
And you just turn to Kate to go, here. Oh.
You try.
And you and you are sickened. You are just, you're out of it for a while. You go and vomit over in some corner.
I just put my hand up and I say, it's the swamp fever kicking in.
So Caden, luckily he did not destroy the brain.
To even bite it.
So if you are still interested in attempting to consume it, you can.
If you get something godly powers, I'm going to be pissed that I rolled a 1.
So it says he's still fighting with work, so
Yep.
we'll just assume he's going to do it.
He's
Sorry,
rolled for it.
I was on mute. I'm going to use my portent roll for 13 plus 2. Con modifier gives me 15.
Okay.
What? Oh,
So-
you could have used that for me. Ah!
I saw it coming.
You did see it
So
coming.
you force yourself. You're like, okay, I've dealt with worse than this, and I've certainly eaten worse than this. And you start like basically just taking bites out of this thing and swallowing them, and it tastes pretty disgusting. But you manage to keep it down. And as you've gotten, 4 or 5 good bites in, you start to feel some sort of strange surging in your guts. Like it's almost like there's electricity firing off inside of you. And I need you to make me a system shock roll, which is going to be a Constitution save. I'm not going to tell you the DC. This will determine whether you die or not.
Well, that's good.
Oh, wow.
Excellent.
So you
Cleric!
too bad you only got a 2 on that other portent.
Yeah. Here we go.
You got a backup character? Oh, natural 20!
Oh, wow.
Caden really
Oh,
is channeling his inner dragon right now.
So you easily passed the DC
Wow.
5
It was
death
only a
save.
5.
So you die in 22 days.
So, if you would like to roll me 2d8s. Okay, for 6. Very interesting.
Oh.
You have just gained magic resistance. You personally now have advantage on all saves versus spells.
What? That is perfect for Caden. That's the only thing that hits him.
Nice.
Wow, that's actually really good.
That is really good.
Can I eat the heart and do something similar?
We're getting there.
Quick,
You have gained
eat-
resistance to knowledge.
can I eat the liver and never get drunk?
I will say, some of the other ones that you could have gotten, you could have potentially gained the ability to smell gold.
That would be cool.
You could have gained 1 point of intelligence and 1 point of wisdom.
But
You
does
could
the
have-
gold stink? You know, that could have been a curse,
Could
right?
be a curse.
You could
Everyone has
have
gold.
gained 1 to 4 points of intelligence.
Would that put him over 20?
Yep. This
Oh.
can exceed your normal maximal.
Wow. That would have been great.
That also would have been nice, yeah.
There were also some for dexterity and constitution.
All the
So yeah, there
dragon things.
was some very cool stuff. Again,
Damn it.
depending on the role, you also could have had a very
Allergic reaction.
challenging reaction. I'm not going to tell you what number. I will tell you because, sooner or later you guys are going to find another dragon and you will probably attempt this again.
Oh, definitely.
There's also the possibility that you believe you are that dragon. Permanently.
The dead dragon?
Yeah.
I'm a
So
dragon, y'all.
haunting the party.
So, no, literally, you basically just, even though you're no longer in a dragon's body, you believe that's who you are and what you are.
You can breathe fire, you can fly.
And you would then permanently be expected to act accordingly.
I'd need some tips on that because I've never played a dragon before.
All right, so for the magic resistance, I'm just putting that under feats.
Yeah.
What does that? Is that a actually thing in the book?
I doubt it.
So what does it do?
You get advantage on saves versus spells. So anytime a spell requires you to make a save, you get advantage.
Nice.
So like for fireballs, for instance, you get advantage on your dexterity check. For charm, you get advantage on your charisma checks. Okay. The dragon eyes.
You can give him gnome cunning, which gives him advantage on intelligent-based saving throws versus magic.
We'll just remember it.
Well, I was
I'm
just trying to
getting-
see if there's a way that you could just drag it in so it's always on his
Yeah.
character.
So I'm getting a shot glass of tequila. I got the salt on my
Dragon blood?
knuckles, and then I'm going to take the eyeball.
Was the eye the chaser?
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's right.
Numa's Charlie Sheen. He's drinking dragon eyes, y'all.
Okay.
It's dragon
So-
blood. Whoa!
The eyes function pretty similarly to the brain.
Hmm.
So if you're whoever is
in
interested in
flank or in
consuming the
chest?
eyes, go ahead and make me a. I guess who's interested?
Numa.
So this is... Can I do
I'm
like an
interested.
intelligence check or something of knowing what a dragon's eyes could do?
basically, you believe that it would give you potentially enhanced vision, both kind of pseudo-normal, dark vision type stuff, and potentially other special kinds of vision.
I mean, like I said, Xavier is all about stealing Dragon's power, so he'll throw his hat in there.
Okay, because of your failed attempt to eat the dragon brain, you'll be rolling at disadvantage on your attempt to get this one.
That's fine. Since I'm still hucking, but I'm like, I want some power.
Yeah. So, Numa, Xavier, anybody else?
I will join in on this.
Okay.
We don't know if Amanda wants any of this.
Oh.
I'm going to bet Amanda doesn't. Just a feeling.
It wasn't a hand dragon, so.
Oh, slightly better.
Dropped to 16. Oh, Numa's getting that eye. He really wants that eyeball.
We're struggling over the one eye as Nova just plucks the
There's
other.
two eyes. There's two eyes. Gonna go for the second one.
Both have to be swallowed.
Oh.
Those are big, too. Those are like grapefruits, man.
We're struggling over the one eye as Numa pops the one in his mouth already.
So, Numa.
Oh, did y'all?
I need you to make me a DC 15 Constitution save to see if you if you can keep these things down, or if you try to swallow them and then regurgitate them.
Constitution.
You should put your ion stone. Oh, never mind. You got a different one. No, you didn't. You got the Constitution ion stone. Ion stone.
So +2 your con.
So yeah, put that on. Get your +2.
How do you do that?
Just take your con.
Just say you're wearing it.
He got 15.
I really didn't mean to do that, but
Well, you rolled a 15. You want to take it back?
no.
Okay. So, you have successfully kept it down. You also start to feel, not that Caden told you about it, but this weird sense of power surging inside of you, and like all your nerves are about to overcharge somehow. And I need you to make me a Constitution save to see if you die or not.
Well, let me put the 2 on there.
I already put it on there.
The +2 on Constitution?
Yeah, you're now 12 instead of 10.
So you have a +1 now. That's what you had on your roll.
If it hadn't been there, you wouldn't have kept it down.
Oh, another 15. Numa really wants that eyeball.
All right, so you also pass your DC 5 death save. So
what am I like going to have one eye one color and the other eye the other color?
That's up to you.
Well, you're about to find out.
Yes.
Do you want to
Depends
become
on
an
what
edgelord? Is that what I hear? I start wearing black trench coats.
Oh yeah.
I'm already wearing one.
What's happening is that your body is starting to kind of convulse a little bit.
Yeah.
And suddenly you just have the most rending pain in your head. And you go to clutch your head, and you kind of put your hand over your eyes, and you feel like your eyes are swelling inside of you. And as you're just, in fact, go ahead and make me another Constitution save.
Exactly.
This is purely for aesthetics.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
you're able to fight against it and keep from just screaming out in pain, but it feels like your head is going to split apart, but the pain in your eyes is even more intense. And while you're kind of hunched over, just clutching your head, the rest of you, all you see is him hunkering down in clear pain. And I need you to roll me percentile dice to see if you get any special bonuses.
Xavier is going to go over and pat Numa on the back, kind of like a loving brother. Like, I know the feeling.
Yeah, are we all doing percentile dice?
Just you.
You got the eyeballs, brother.
Oh, just me. Okay. And then I think I right-click on that one to get the percentile. Yeah.
66. Uh-oh.
66.
Number of the beast.
Okay.
Get my kicks.
So, as you just continue to writhe in pain, slowly, the pain starts to recede, but you still feel like your eyes are just pressing against your hands. And as you are able to, it takes several minutes, you're finally slowly starting to feel like, okay, you're not actually going to die from this.
I'm at peace.
And you start looking, but even before you open your eyes, you realize you're able to sense people around you. Like, I mean, you know your eyes are closed, yet you feel like you can see them.
Oh, snap.
Oh, yeah. I like this. Are they people I recognize?
Numa's a psychic detective now.
And you now have blind sight out to 30 feet.
Awesome. So is that a trait or a...
You'll just want to put
skill?
it on your
skill.
on senses.
That's
Put it
how
on
I
your
see
resume.
Numa now. In Skype.
On your senses, you're going to want to add it there.
Where's that at?
On the very first page of your character sheet.
It's right below your race.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
That's Numa during this exchange.
All the time.
So, like, man, that is going to be awesome because, like, where we had that big sphere fog, I could be just like, who cares?
Or sensing, like, through doors, like when we couldn't see who was on the other
I'm not
side.
done yet.
Oh.
Oh,
wait a minute.
there's more.
Wait, there's more.
You also have gained an extra 30 feet of dark vision.
Ah, wow. That's awesome. Dragons know how to...
Your percentile roll did not get you any additional special sights. But as you finally kind of stand up and look around, everyone else who's been watching you notices that you've changed.
Oh, gosh.
You're not who you used to be, man.
Your eyes are, in fact, bulging out from your head. And they are white with vertical slits.
You have legit dragon eyes that are too big for your head.
I don't mind the swelling, but the itching, doctor, just... Okay.
Does anybody have any sunglasses?
Looks like I might have to Photoshop my picture now. That's going to do wonders for my charisma.
You go down to a 6?
Yeah.
Well, people can pick you out of a crowd.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool. So you got blind sight. How far out is that? 10 feet?
30 feet.
30 feet blind sight.
Kind of like that, only with white eyes. Vertical slits.
What am I looking at?
You're a freaking alien.
I just Skyped it.
Yeah.
Oh.
You got two versions.
Roswell Gray, man.
Yeah, I bet you I'm Roswell, aren't I?
Wow. Awesome. Numa, are you alright?
Do those eyeballs make me look fat?
I pull out my steel mirror and I show Numa. Friend Numa, I hate to say this, but your eyes are too big for your head.
This may make me ineligible for the Harpers.
You might need to wear a covering over your face for a while.
I may have to get some fashion. Yeah, we may have to do something there. All right.
We can make you a nice little shawl to go over your face.
Yeah, looks like I'll be childless.
Well, who knows? Maybe if you kill a human, you can consume their eyes. And
Yeah, that's good thing I've gotten used to lonely monk living.
What's next? What's next?
okay.
Haven't you had enough?
No. Xavier wants in on this dragon shit.
Okay. This ought to be a fun one.
What are we looking at?
Okay, somebody roll me a 1d4 plus 1.
Just anyone?
Yep. Okay, so 4. And now somebody else roll me percentile die. And call high or low.
Go ahead, Aravan. I'm writing some down. Oh. He didn't call high or low, though.
Oh, sorry. I was on mute. I said low. Sorry.
So you actually said low.
I did actually say low before I rolled.
Okay. Well, in that case, you have found 4 gallstones
Oh, gross.
inside this dragon.
Nope.
And
They have magical
And-
properties.
Here you go, Xavier. I found something for you.
these stones have very interesting shapes and colors.
Uh-huh.
They look much more like gemstones than like, natural accretions.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
And I'm going to need 4 rolls in just a second as soon as I get to what I need to get to.
Freaking gallstones. Xavier's like, I'll take scraps at this point. Whatever I can do to get some of this awesome power you guys are doing.
Xavier's there just itching his arm like, man, I just need to hit a dragon scales, man.
I need a hit, man.
I'll take anything, man.
Come on, man. I can handle it.
Getting close, getting close.
I mean, the heart's got to be worth something too, right? To ingest.
We're getting there.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, so there are.
We're all going to be
let's see,
mutants by the time we walk out
1,
of
2,
this
3,
castle.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay. So there are 14. I'll just throw out a couple of them. Okay, so there are 11. There are 11 that I'm willing to say you might find.
Okay.
So, let's just go ahead and we'll have the 4 of you each roll a d10. If you roll a 10, you can decide whether you want to be a 10 or an 11.
Okay.
All right.
Got an 8.
Couple of ones.
2 8s and 2 1s.
They come in
What are
pairs,
the
apparently.
odds? Duma, get off my 8.
Okay.
There can be only one.
Yeah, me too.
Odds of that. 8 to 1.
Okay,
8 to
well,
1.
I just want you guys to know, you're the ones who rolled this.
Yep.
You told me to roll it. I want nothing to do with gallstones. I don't know what you're talking about.
So,
She's looking at Skype.
okay. You find 2 pale lavender ellipsoids.
Ooh.
And you find 2 dusty rose prisms. Okay, and if you would like to take the time to do some identifying.
Caden, please.
Like, investigate or literally the identify spell?
Literally the identify spell.
Oh, okay. I'll take 40 minutes of my precious time to do that.
You only need 2, right? Because they're 2 of the same.
I don't want to guarantee you.
Just in case.
So,
Better safe than sorry.
I mean, we got time, right?
what you have found are 2 ion stones
What?
of absorption.
And that's the lavender or the rose?
That's the lavender ones. And I'll pull them up in a minute and give them to you guys. But while you have this orbiting your head, you can use your reaction to cancel a spell of 4th level or lower, cast by a creature you can see and targeting only you. Once it has canceled 20 levels of spells, it burns out and loses its magic.
Okay, that's cool.
You get 2 of those.
And we're only allowed 1 head slot, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you can only have one of these things orbiting your head at a time.
Cool. All right, so I'm out of that one. And the rose.
And
For
I'm
the
just trying
light
to make sure.
And the rose.
Yeah, it is considered to be worn while it's orbiting your head, so yeah, we'll say you can only have 1.
Okay.
The dusty rose is an ion stone of protection. +1 bonus to AC while it's orbiting your head.
Those are both
+1?
solid.
Yeah, it's basically a ring of protection.
Is that +1 to saves as well, or just AC?
Just to AC.
Okay. Well, Caden doesn't have anything around his head, right?
At the
That's
moment.
true.
I don't think Numa does either, right?
No, I don't have anything.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
I would-
wait.
Oh,
no,
yeah,
you
Numa's
got
have
fortitude.
the con one.
Oh,
I would
I
definitely
did.
go for
I mean,
the
so
absorption one.
Well, that means we have...
Or maybe one of each and swap out.
I'm good on my AC anyway, so I can give it some.
Caravan. Oh, those require attunement, though, right? The ion stones? All of them, I believe, do.
Yes, all of them require attunement.
Well,
All right.
we can sell
So
those.
That's a long rest. Is that right?
Short rest. right?
No, it's an hour.
Short rest.
Oh, that's not so bad.
To attune to it. But, so Caden is the only one that can effectively use one of those right now.
Right now, perhaps, but depending on the situation, these could be useful even in the future.
Yep.
Okay, so Caden is getting the ion stone of absorption.
One of each.
Oh, he's getting one of each.
Yep.
Okay.
And then the other two can go to the
I'll
hole.
take the one of the second protection stone,
Where did that?
All right.
unless somebody else
Oh,
wanted it.
You can
so
put
a
both of
stone
them
prism
in the hole.
is ion.
Oh, yeah,
Protection.
I guess I didn't mark them as identified.
No, you
Yeah.
did not.
The rose prism is protection, and then the lavender ellipsoid is absorption.
There we go.
Wow, we need to kill more dragons, guys. They got cool shit.
Right?
Hey, I know
so
2 in a swamp.
Protection is going to Aravan. And who's the other absorption one going to?
Aravan.
Both of them to Aravan?
Right.
Yeah, he can put him in the hole
Yep.
for now.
Ooh.
Okay.
Goggles of Night goes to the head as well, right? Is that-
Yes.
Oh,
Let's
so
say that
you
was the
either
head
have
slot.
dark vision or absorption or protection.
Okay, so I'll default to protection, and then I can swap out depending.
Okay. Last one.
Ooh.
The heart. For having slain a large dragon, if you eat a portion of the heart, it will effectively imbue you with the effects of the haste spell and the heroism spell.
Temporarily?
Temporarily.
Hmm.
So it's like drinking a potion. There are 4 servings.
Do we have any way of keeping that from
Spoiling?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, she's not here, but I know Octavia should have ritual spells in order to do that.
This also comes with its own dangers in that after the effects wear off, you still have to make the system shock roll. So you could consume it, get the benefits, and then die.
Right. So that was...
So
That'd be
there's
perfect
no
for
permanent
Draxus.
boost on this.
No, this is not a permanent boost.
So that's haste plus heroism.
Yeah.
Which is temp HP and increased movement and... What, an extra attack, I think?
It's an extra action.
Extra action.
Okay, now we've officially finished distributing all the loot. Now,
Oh, I want the bones, too, if we can.
yeah, you've
we
already got
got
the bones.
16
Oh,
bucks.
yeah, sorry.
So, you guys, the giant is kicking you out. You are now officially located to the north of Longsaddle. What do you want to do? What is your plan? What is your mission?
Well, I believe we wanted to head to Longsaddle. Is Longsaddle considered a large city, or is it like a village?
It's more of a town.
Town. Okay. So we might be able to pawn off some of our stuff there. Xavier really wants to get to a place where wizards are, so that way he can get some enchanting done, and where wizards are, there's definitely people of ill repute that he would like to sell the rest of his high-value stuff to. So, Longsaddle send information to...
Well, does anyone want to make me a history check to try to figure out what kind of settlement Longsaddle is? Has anybody ever been there before?
And that's a history check.
Yeah, history.
I think Xavier is from around the Southwood High Forest area, so I doubt that he would have been up in this area.
Sounds like Aravan's likely to be the only one to know much about Longsaddle.
Nothing from our wizard.
Match.
I don't know. Our wizard going to roll a history check? Okay. Well, it's probably appropriate that the wizard made the check, because the wizard would know that Longsaddle is home to the Harple family, a very long and distinguished line of wizards.
Distinguished is pushing it.
Well, they certainly think they're distinguished. But the Harples are known as powerful wizards, and there are a lot of them. And visitors to Longsaddle often carry tales of the almost fantastical way that the city is arranged and the Harples' home. It seems to have a lot of magic and enchantments laid over it that make it an interesting place to visit. The Harples are not particularly interested in outside company, but they're not hostile. They're just kind of perfectly happy to stay kind of with themselves. So, that's what you know.
Well, that sounds like a fine place to maybe procure some enchantments. And maybe pawn off some of our lesser magical items that we don't need.
I think it's a good spot as any to begin. Gives us an opportunity to rest up, patch some of our wounds, make contact with Leos, and perhaps begin to strategize what our plan is going forward.
Did we get a chance to talk to Blagothkis about where he was heading to the Well of Dragons before we get dropped off?
No, he kicked you out. He got tired of waiting on you.
Ah,
Check.
I see.
And he didn't know where it was. He was just going in the directions that were provided to him.
And the directions were southeast from where?
Yeah, mostly south, some east.
Some east, okay. But he was... We don't know exactly where we got onto the castle, right?
No, you don't.
Okay. Alright, well, I suggest we head to Longsaddle and maybe take use of the facilities, and hopefully we can come with some kind of arrangement with these wizards to further ready ourselves to face this dragon menace that is looming over us.
All right. We march onward.
Well, in that case, since we're gonna be heading down the... Did he drop us like near the road?
Yeah.
Okay. Xavier will keep pace. Say about 50 to 100 yards in front of everyone. Actually, I don't have to be that far. Probably about 30 yards ahead of everyone, using those newfound eagle eyes to see in distances and keep watch along the road as we're walking down.
Okay.
Towards Longsaddle.
So with your newfound vision, what you were basically able to see is that almost the entire area around where you are seems to just have long stretches of fields full of horses, cattle, sheep. You know, there seems to be a lot of ranching going on in this vicinity.
Horse country?
Yeah, it's relatively flat, just some slight rolling hills. Again, there's not like whole herds of horses out there. But you do see that most of the land seems to have been, livestock and ranching type activities. You see some small cottages and some small farms, but most of it is just turned over more to pasture land than anything.
Okay. Well, Xavier will keep an eye out for any kind of hide or similar structures used for ambushes on the road.
Okay.
Just anything that seems like, oh, look, there's some misplaced twigs, or the grass seems, unsettled or something like that along the road, just in case if there's some bandits laying in wait for a caravan or something to go through there.
All right. As you're traveling, you don't really see any signs of someone trying to set an ambush or anything like that. What you do see, though, is some marks along the road that indicate there may have been some fighting there. And there's one point at which you find the charred remnants of what kind of looks like a log or something that was rolled kind of across the road.
Oh, okay.
And you see some bodies, or some bones and mostly burned bodies, kind of piled a little distance away from the road.
Can I get an estimate of how long are they smoking, or they've been?
It's been a little while. It's been several days. Looks like.
All right. I'll just make mention back to the group. Just keep an eye out. It looks like there have been altercations in the past in the area. There's some burned wood and burned bodies around, 30, 40 yards outside the road.
And since you got your supervision, go ahead and make me a perception check.
Yeah. Hey, I get advantage on this. Hey-o.
You do?
Natural 20,
Nice.
25.
You're able to pick up that the charred remains of the bodies, there's a lot of, not quite burned scales and things on the corpses. Given the size and what you can see, the remnants, you're pretty sure there are several kobolds in that pile, and possibly some larger lizard men type bodies.
Strange. There seems to be some lizardkin and some... seems to be small kobolds in this area. Caden, does that seem like something that would be natural to this area?
Okay, as far as you know, this is not a normal, hunting ground or area. This is a relatively well settled area. You would not expect to see kobolds or lizard folk around here.
So I'll convey that to the party.
Do I see any kind of armor or banners or any kind of notifying marks?
Nope.
All right. I'll just note that there are lizard-type folk in the area, and just proceed with caution.
So as you continue to travel, you're not sure exactly what the distance to Long Saddle was.
Or not turn it off.
don't know if he can sleep in here. So you travel for the rest of the
y'all
day.
can hear all of that, can't you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So you travel for the rest of the day after Bukowskis drops you off. He dropped you off kind of late in the night / early in the morning, so that his castle was not observed, or at least as best as he could manage.
Right.
So you've got a pretty full day of travel. You've made it about 20 miles. With no horses, no carts. You're just kind of stuck hiking it.
Yep.
And over the course of the day, you saw that the charred pile of bodies. With your enhanced vision, it's amazing what you're able to pick up now. And you also have seen some fairly distant farmsteads that seem to have taken some amount of fire damage. You're not sure what's been happening. It's kind of sporadic. Like, it's not like the whole area has been burned or anything.
Seems like raiding almost.
Maybe, yeah.
How
you
far
set
out
up camp?
of Long Saddle are we?
You don't know.
Don't know. Okay.
You just know if you keep following this road, you should get there.
Are these like large patches of burnt field or like smaller focused?
It seems like
No, it's
the huts.
Yeah, it's like
are being burned.
the farmsteads, the actual homes.
I'll relay that to the group. It looks like there's been some raiding on the farmsteads out in the far pastures there. There might be something more at work here.
I don't think the other cultists would have gotten this far this quickly, do you?
No, but judging by the kobolds and the lizard folk that we've dealt with before, they could be enslaved and or influenced by the cults. They've used them before. Might be something that we want to look into. About how far out is like the closest burned farmstead?
You figure it's probably 1.5 miles, maybe 2 miles from the road.
Oh, damn, I got some good vision.
Yeah, I mean, your vision is, in these flat places, it's incredibly good.
Xavier, what are you talking about? I could just see a burnt tree.
It's about a mile and a half off the road. But
I mean, this is like when you top a little rise,
yeah.
you kind of get a bit of a field of view. You're able to see it a long way out with some detail.
Point out the curvature of the earth.
Right? I have a feeling when we get to Long Saddle, we're going to have some interesting stories to hear at the local tavern.
I think you're right. Perhaps we're not ready to let our guard down just yet.
No, I think we should camp soon and then try to get out at first light.
Perhaps
Try to
you're
get
right.
to Long Saddle as fast as possible, I assume.
You guys gonna camp?
Yeah, I assume we do like a full. We've been kind of resting for a day on the castle, pretty much, after we killed everyone.
So we're all full up on spell slots and everything?
I think we did when we leveled, right?
Yeah, and you managed to rest at the castle before you got dropped off. So
Yeah, I assume we do like a full days of marching and then we camp and then we'll march again. But Xavier is going to keep a keen eye out. He doesn't like the idea of kobolds and lizard folk going around and raiding villages where they're heading. So
all right, well, you guys make camp. You managed to take some extra provisions from the castle. You're relatively well stocked. You've had time to recover from your fights. And everyone except Octavia eats all the ham that you guys managed to take from the castle. You wait till Octavia's asleep and everybody gets up and cooks it and eats it all.
Poison the last few scraps and tuck it away back into her bag.
Poison jerky. She's gonna be upset when she hears that.
It's a quiet evening. You keep watch, but no one spots anything. You get up, you continue traveling in the morning, and it's approaching noon when you finally reach Long Saddle. And to retcon slightly, since Octavia wasn't using any of her spells, she did eventually communicate with Leosin before you guys went to sleep last night.
Using all of her 4th level spells.
Using all of her spells to actually communicate over that distance. So we'll let Numa, if he's there, pass on whatever sort of update he wanted.
New phone, who dis?
This is the 25 words or less deal?
Yep.
This is like the fantasy version of a tweet?
Pretty much.
Well, she's got a lot of spells, so you can kind of make it a whole paragraph. So.
Okay, yeah. Eliminated 1 loot path by floating castle. Stop. Destination of loot, Well of Dragons. Stop. I feel like I'm in an Indiana Jones movie all of a sudden. Investigating location of Well of Dragons at Long Saddle. Advise any new information from Harper's.
Stop.
Okay.
That might have been 25 words. I'm not sure.
And what Octavia hears back as you pass that on is good to hear you're alive. Where are you now? We must talk. Much has happened since you left. Return to Waterdeep.
What?
As soon as.
That just sounds like a trap.
You think?
So that was your first message.
I do not know.
North of Long Saddle. What did it say? He didn't say it just stopped at must return.
Get to Waterdeep as soon as possible, I assume.
It was get to Waterdeep as soon as, and he ran out of words. So you just said north of Long Saddle.
Traveling south to Long Saddle. We'll communicate again at when we reach Long Saddle.
It's going to be a long time to get to Waterdeep from Long Saddle, even if we get horses.
Yeah, where's the map at? I can't find my map all of a sudden. What's it called? Sword Coast or something?
Yeah. The Silk Coast.
Oh, the Silk Coast.
That's a long way. We're talking like weeks heading down the long road with full ride on horses.
I wonder, would it be... gosh. I don't know. For some reason, I just feel drawn to Neverwinter, and then why couldn't we take a boat down the coast to Waterdeep if we went that way?
I wonder if that would be faster.
The response to the second message you get is... Friends in Longsaddle, I will send assistance. Need you in Waterdeep soon.
Okay.
Dad, where's my iPad?
So, as you guys, the next day you've gotten up, you've begun traveling, and as you see Longsaddle, you start to see the outskirts of the village. Xavier, you're starting to pick out like some people moving around in the village. You're probably still another mile and a half out.
Okay.
But again, these are fairly open plains.
Right.
Make me another perception check.
Certainly. Do. That's 22.
All right. So, with your 22, you happen to notice a single bird coming from the south, headed towards you. And the reason you take notice of it is that it doesn't seem to be varying in its course. It's not flitting around. It doesn't seem to be, chasing anything
and all that, right?
Yeah, it's just making a straight line towards you.
I will whistle at it, knowing that it's a little ways off, but I'll whistle at it.
Oh, it's a good ways off. And as it begins to get closer, you notice that it seems to have something, like it's carrying something.
It's got a gun.
It's got a gun. No, a bird approaches and it's carrying something, and it seems like it's heading directly for us. I'm gonna try to get it to land here. So I'll, as it gets closer, I'll whistle at it and hold out my arm, like a messenger raven or hawk or something.
And again, when you say that you see this bird coming in, the rest of your party kind of looks up and they're like, "That tiny little speck?"
Trust me.
And the bird continues flying towards you. You're able to identify it as a raven.
Okay.
And as you hold out your arm and kind of wait for it, it doesn't fly up and land on your arm, but it drops to the ground about a dozen paces from you and starts to hop closer towards you. And you see there's a flat parcel wrapped in an oilskin that's been strapped to its belly.
Okay.
It eyes you kind of quizzically for just a moment. And then you hear it speak.
Oh, shit.
The Yosin Erlenthar sends his heartiest congratulations. Please use this gift. Please use the gift the bird brings to you to come to Waterdeep as soon as you can.
I will gently grab the bird by the feet, kind of get it to climb on my hand, and I'll start gently undoing the parcel. I'll give it a bit of ham.
As you start pulling the strings that have tied this parcel to its belly loose, the flat oilskin wrapped package falls to the ground as once it's gotten loosened, and you're otherwise occupied with just holding the bird in one hand and untying.
And Caden reaches down and picks it up and starts to unwrap it. And inside, you see a piece of paper folded over and again wrapped in this oilskin.
Well, Xavier, what is it?
I don't know. Caden has it. Caden, what does it say?
What does it say?
So you're gonna open it up and actually inspect it and look at it?
Why not?
Okay.
It's a bomb!
As you open it up,
Raven?
you start reading at the top, and you decide you should just go ahead and read the message out loud to everybody in the party. And as you start reading, it makes perfect sense to you as you start scanning it. You're not really paying attention. You're just kind of reading out loud. And the rest of the group is looking at you like, what the hell are you saying? Because they're not understanding anything about it. And about halfway through reading it, you realize this is a spell. And you go ahead and finish reading it. And out of nowhere, this small little point appears. And it like stretches and folds open. And then it folds open again and again and again and again until eventually there is a large portal that is opened up right in front of you. And Caden, you realize it's the first time you've ever actually cast the spell. But this was a teleport spell.
Oh, snap.
Ready to go. Let's do it.
Caden, what did you do?
The voices in
Xavier,
my
what
head told me to
Code
read.
phrase
So I
did
read.
you speak this time?
What did the note say?
The note didn't actually say anything. It was just the spell. I guess this is how we're going to get to Waterdeep.
Xavier pulls out his venom dagger and says, "If we wind up in the wrong place, be ready for action." And he steps through the portal.
All right.
What are the rest of you doing?
Aravan's going to look to the group and say he's probably going to get himself killed again. Step in after him. Great sword at the ready.
We have all our stuff and everything on us, right?
Yeah. You've had to carry everything that you brought with you.
Wait, my slippers!
All right. So I'll follow Erevan through the portal.
We'll assume Octavia is also following you.
I think she stays behind.
Numa,
People.
are you staying or are you going?
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. I went right after Xavier.
Okay. So all you guys pile through, and as the last of you steps through, this portal starts to collapse behind you, and the Raven just watches it all happen.
Oh, I still got the raven in my hand.
Oh well, he let go. I mean, he tried to fly off.
Damn it.
So
Make him take us to Leosin.
So the Raven sits there and watches it all happen, and then just casually flies away.
Oh, God, we're going to die.
That's
Meanwhile,
how
in
the Raven
hell-
left.
Meanwhile...
And that's where we'll pick up next week.
Oh! Shit. We don't even know where we're going.
Obviously, Ravenloft. I mean, it was a raven that brought us here.
I'm
Tricked us.
down with that.
Campaign.
I'll be in Minneapolis next Tuesday, so I'll be on Central Time, and I'll see if I can call in later.
Okay.
All right. So before we shut down, Ben, those other 2 spells I posted, those also viable options.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think they, as long as they're of an appropriate level for you, I think they're probably reasonably well balanced compared to the rest of the stuff. So,
All right.
That was some cool stuff.
I reserve the right to revoke these spells if they just feel overpowered. So we actually start using them.
Fair enough.
Okay. Well, welcome to the first part of the next adventure.
Cool. We had some interesting stuff happen there.
But what is that? Dragon gallstones. I thought Ben was throwing it in there like a joke item just to see if any of us would choose to eat it or something like that. Just so he could laugh at us.
Nope. See, the thing is, there's this whole section, gallstones. There's a chance that a dragon has magical stones in its kidneys, gallbladder, or gut.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Or a large dragon. That's what this was. There's an 80% chance. So, you rolled quite well. You got 4 of them. But I did take out some of the more powerful iron stones.
Fair enough.
It's okay. We doubled up on the ones we got.
Yeah.
Wow. That was actually really fun dissecting that dragon. I enjoyed the whole process.
It's really just too bad that nobody died from it.
I should have died. I failed.
I was seriously concerned. I've been rolling like 2s and 3s the whole time.
I mean, I rolled a 1. I should have died.
No, it's very clear. The first one you make is to see whether you can actually keep it down.
So the second one is if you die or not.
Once the change starts to happen, it's can your body cope with what's going on?
I'm so glad my body could cope with the large and grotesque
I will say,
I now possess.
The more powerful the dragon, the better the chance you die.
But the better the chance.
Yeah, this is a young dragon, right?
Well, that's only if you're not already part dragon, right?
No.
No?
So if we ever face an ancient dragon, then we got a real chance of dying, but there should be some cool shit in there too.
Yeah,
Well, it's
much.
that just means we have to trick the ancient dragon into eating parts of another dragon. And
To
then
kill
it'll
it.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Be like, hey, I got this dragon heart. Eat it.
You just ate your parents, stupid.
Oh, God.
Oh, that was
I think we all remember that South Park episode.
That's our party's new ultimate plan.
awesome.
All right.
Really curious where this is going to take us.
It could literally be anywhere.
Literally anywhere. We don't know where this teleport's actually taking us. They say it's from Leosin, but it could be a clever ruse.
Right? Why are we listening to this bird?
I don't know. Sounded like
That's
a good
good
idea
question.
at the time.
I mean,
Bird that speaks common. There's a lot of red flags here.
You didn't
really,
like,
no.
You didn't even do like an Arcana check to see if this made sense.
Or an insight check to see if the bird was lying to us.
I've had 3 glasses of wine, so I was like, I'm gonna go for it. Fuck it. Let's get out of the road. I still need to go to a major city and pawn off some of this stuff though. 'Cause Xavier needs to lose some weight and get some
Who knows?
items.
Maybe you're in a major city.
It would be helpful.
We are the city now.
Oh God, we're Titans.
All right, everybody.
Good session, man.
Yeah.
Good night.
It was fun.
All right.
Adios.
Bye bye.